Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop a like, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but the first topic of development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Harry Maguire. Now I have been updating you on a regular basis about him, because obviously we do know that Harry Maguire is a central defender, and obviously we do know that we have got issues defensively. Obviously, that was proven last season, because we did concede 54 goals in the Premier League. So we have got deficiencies in defence, and of course they do need to be addressed. But we have been interested in Harry Maguire. Reportedly now Manchester United are set to spend around £80 million for Harry Maguire, because this is of course what Leicester are demanding for Harry Maguire. So basically, looking at ultimately, Leicester don't want to sell Harry Maguire, because obviously that they know how much of an essential player he is to them and all that. And this is the main factor reason why Leicester priced him out the transfer market. So we do know it has been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. But reportedly, I think Ed Woodward is keen on recommending him to Manchester United. Reportedly, willing to pay £80 million for him. This is what Leicester are demanding, and reportedly, we're willing to offer him a 5-year contract worth around £350,000 a week. But we are confident, we can beat Manchester City, to the signing of Harry Maguire, and we are confident that we can outbid Manchester City, because I think from Harry Maguire's preference, he wants to join Manchester City, because we do know that Manchester City are a competitive elite level football club. They are the dominant force in England at the moment, and of course, they've got Champions League football and all that. But reportedly, Manchester City are not willing to pay up to £80 million for his services. I think Manchester City are only willing to pay around £50 million for Harry Maguire. But I do believe Manchester United are willing to pay £80 million what Leicester are demanding, or we are willing to pay a fee closer to the valuation that Leicester of course are demanding. But we do know Harry Maguire has been relentlessly linked to move to Old Trafford. Obviously he's been linked to Manchester United since last summer, because obviously the process started under Jose Mourinho, because obviously Harry Maguire was one of the players of course that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. But obviously last summer the board weren't back in the signings that Jose Mourinho of course wanted to recommend to come in. But I do like Harry Maguire a lot. For my own opinion, I don't think he's worth 80 or 90 million pounds. He's proven in the Premier League and all that, and we do need someone that can blend alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline. I do believe that Harry Maguire would be the right solution. He's been at Leicester a couple of seasons. I think he's made about 101 appearances in the Premier League. Obviously Leicester got him from Hull City a couple of years ago for around £17 million. Obviously Harry Maguire signed a new long-term contract last summer, so he's in the contract with Leicester until 2023. But obviously Harry Maguire, even if he doesn't leave the Leicester this summer, at some point in his career, he's going to want to rejuvenate his career. He's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level and all that. But like I said, if he does go to Manchester City, obviously Manchester City are not going to be able to show him first team football, because like I said, City have got Otamendi, they've got John Stones, they've also got Laporte and all that. So it's going to be, it would be hard for him to get first team football in Manchester City. So first team football would be much easier for him at Manchester United, and I do believe he would help us with our own rebuilding project and all that. So I do really like him. Plus he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer, and obviously he wants to recommend a number of young players to come in. I think we are moving away from the policy of signing established players and all that. So we are moving away from that policy. And policy. People have said we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because there's quite a few players that are available on our agenda for a reasonable figure and all that. And we've got to get the right recruitment this summer. Obviously, because analysing our recruitment policy, it's extremely very very poor. Because obviously, we didn't spend out in January. Obviously, we didn't get as number one targets last summer. And obviously, we've got to get the right players in this summer, that can elevate Manchester United forward. Because like I said, I think in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations is going to be at that top four. I think our expectations going on into next season, probably we'll be finish in the top four, maybe win the Carabao Cup, maybe win the Europa League. But obviously, we haven't won any silverware in the last couple of seasons and all that. Obviously, we haven't won the Premier League, since 2013. Obviously, that was 6 years ago, and obviously, that was in Alex Ferguson's last season and all that. But I do think we're a number of years off, for mounting any kind of title challenge. People have said, we can, maybe challenge for the league next season or win the league next season if we do get the right players to Manchester United this summer. But obviously, we're not in a Champions League football for next season. That's obviously, very, very pivotal, when you do want to get your number one targets. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to build a squad, worthy of our history and all that. But I do believe Harry Maguire, would be the right solution. Like I currently said, it is Man United and Man City that are battling out for his services. But obviously, if we do get him for around 80 or 90 million pounds, obviously, it's going to make him the most expensive defender in world football. Because obviously, at the moment, Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk is the most expensive defender, and of course, it's going to make him the most expensive English player of all time, ahead of Kyle Walker. Because obviously, Kyle Walker at the moment is the most expensive English player. City got him a couple of years ago for around, was it £50 million? I think there was initial add-ons included, which did potentially rise it to around 52 or 53 million pounds. So hopefully, we can get a deal over the line for Harry Maguire. Because like I said, I think we need two central defenders. Because I think Smalling's not good enough. I don't think Jones is good enough anymore. And plus they're both aging up. They have been long-serving players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years. Jones of course has been here 8 years. And it was a bad mistake for Manchester United giving them two new long-term contracts and all that. So I do believe we need two central defenders. Obviously, we've got Eric Bay, but like I said, with Eric Bay, he's initial lost his players in the team and all that. Obviously, we paid £30 million from Villarreal back in 2016, so he has been at Manchester United now 3 years. But like I said, his Manchester United career has been badly affected. With the amount of injuries he's sustained. Obviously, his fallout under managers and all that. And I think it would be beneficial, if we did cash in for Eric Bay. Probably, we would be looking to recoup the initial, £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016 and all that. So we have got issues defensively. It is looking likely that Rojo and Darmian, of course, are going to be leaving. That's going to be very, very beneficial because both of them players, have endured difficult times Manchester United and all that. I think Rojo's career has been mainly affected, amount of injuries he has sustained as a Manchester United player. Obviously, Darmian hasn't, really been given the opportunity. So, I think it's looking very imminent, they're going to be leaving Manchester United this summer. But we do need to see, vast improvements going on into this season of what we saw last season. Because obviously, last season we finished 6th. We didn't win any kind of silverware and all that. So it was very, very disappointing last season. But like I said, we have been a toxic club, for the last 5 or 6 years. Obviously, we've been mismanaged in the last 5 or 6 years, since Alex Ferguson retired. Obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies. Obviously, a hell of a lot of money has been spent into the club. Players have come in and, of course, players have gone out. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer is looking to bring players in who he thinks are going to fit the culture of the club, who he thinks are going to fit the history of the club and all that. And, he's looking to bring players in who he thinks are going to elevate Manchester United forward. Because obviously, there is cultural problems at the club at the moment. But the big question is, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to succeed in these conditions? Because obviously now we do know it's looking very likely that we're not going to appoint a sporting director in and all that. And obviously, I said, we need to get a director of football, because that's a structural change that we do need at the club and all that. So obviously now it's looking like it's going to be Ed Woodward that's going to be overseeing our transfer, business this summer and all that. But we have been, looking to get a director of football, at least for the last 2 or 3 months and all that. So many, names have been linked to that director as well. At Old Trafford, we do know Fernandes being linked to it. Obviously, Evra's been linked to it. Obviously, Edwin van der Sar has been linked to it. Paul Mitchell and that has been linked to it. So I said it was very essential, that we get a director of football in. But obviously, it's looking likely, we are going to be sticking with the same structure Manchester United. So is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to be able to succeed in these conditions? And I hope it does work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all that. Like I said, he was a great player for Manchester United, for 11 years under Alex Ferguson and all that. Obviously, we know one of his most iconic moments, as a player, was in 1999. Of course, when he did score that goal in the Champions League final against Bayern Munich at the Nou Camp, and obviously, of course, won the treble and all that. And obviously, that's one of the club's greatest achievements. And yes, he's got a great pedigree as a player, but he hasn't really got it as a manager, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and especially not to the highest level. He did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Molde, but I do hope he can take Manchester United forward, because I still love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. But like I said, I hope we don't sack him, because we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers. Because obviously we've already sacked 3 managers since Alex Ferguson retired. But like I said, regardless of who our current manager is, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson. So like I say, we're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson, for 20 odd year, and that's something we've got to accept. But obviously, we do want to be, back to being a competitive elite level football club. But I do think it's going to take us a couple of years, to get us back, to where we currently want to be and all that. And obviously, we do need to rebuild this summer. But like I said, at the moment, City are strides ahead of us. Liverpool, of course, are strides ahead of us, and it's very imperative that we catch up with likes of City and Liverpool and all that. But Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Obviously, he wants a full areas where he thinks Manchester Manchester United are lacking. But like I said, £200 million, should be enough, to get us around 5 players on the board. I think probably 3 or 4 players are expected to leave Manchester United. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recommend a number of young players to come in and all that. But like I said, I hope, I'm hopeful, that we can get a deal over the line for Harry Maguire, because I do think he will improve us defensively. Obviously, as I updated you about the breaking news earlier on within regards to Paul Pogba, he's publicly come out and admitted that he does want to leave Manchester United this summer. Obviously, he's even willing to go on strike, to force through a move from Manchester United to Real Madrid, because we do know that Paul Pogba has been relentlessly linked to move away from the club. And like I said, if we do sell him, we will get quite a bit of money for him. It will help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us over our transition. But looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is, and basically we've indicated that Paul Pogba of course is not for sale, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can to try and convince him to remain at the football club. Reportedly we want around £150 million for Paul Pogba, but this is a figure that Real Madrid of course are reluctant to meet. But we do know it is Real Madrid and Juventus that are battling out for his services, but I think Paul Pogba's first choice preference is Real Madrid. But yeah, Paul Pogba's confirmed, he's actually said this, to Tokyo, he's said this to reporters in Tokyo, that he does want to leave Manchester United, and he, of course, is seeking a new challenge. He wants to seek a new challenge, because I think, the couple of main factor reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave the club, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, maybe he wants to be, winning trophies and all that, and he's not experiencing this, of course, at Manchester United. But I do believe his first choice preference is Real Madrid, even though reports emerged out last week, saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing him and all that. It came out this week saying that the Juventus director has travelled to London, to hold talks with Manchester United over re-signing Paul Pogba and all that. And this actually came from Damasio, who was an Italian journalist. He basically said that Juventus have begun negotiations with Manchester United. Juventus have not put any kind of formal bidding for him as yet, but obviously probably Juventus to fund the move for Paul Pogba would have to offload at least 1 or 2 of their essential players, because I don't think Juventus would be able to afford him outright. Obviously reports were coming out this week saying that we've told Juventus that we are demanding Joe Cancelo in exchange for Paul Pogba if we are willing to sell Paul Pogba to Juventus. But I do believe his first choice preference is Real Madrid, as he has confirmed. But initially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is actually planning to build a side around Paul Pogba, but we do know Paul Pogba doesn't want to remain at the football club, and obviously he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's 26 years of age, he's in his prime, got a hell of a lot of development in him, but I do believe he wants to rejuvenate his current career. But Paul Pogba did have 4 good years in training. Like I said, he played really, really well. He exceeded expectation levels and all that. He won 4 Serie A's. I think he won 2 Coppa Italians and all that. But he hasn't really replicated this form since he has made the return to Manchester United. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, our most expensive signing. And like I said, we have got a history of spending big on players, especially in recent years. Pogba 89 million, of course Lukaku 75 million pounds. And like I said, it's not always about spending big on players. It's not all about getting them Galactico players, because it doesn't always guarantee you success and all that, as it has been proven. You can get the best players in the world, if they're not playing as a team and they're not playing as a unit, of course it's not going to get you anywhere, of course, as it has been proven and all that. But like I said, I think he'll probably end up making the move to Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid are willing to pay up to around £135 million for him. Obviously it's one of Zinedine Zidane's main priority targets and all that. But Paul Pogba was saying a while back that at some point in his career he does want to play for Real Madrid. But we do know Paul Pogba's agent Raiola, at least in the last couple of months, has been in the process of trying to secure him his move to Real Madrid. Obviously Raiola has had now his worldwide ban currently lifted, of course, because initially he did get banned from conducting any transfers and all that, but reportedly now he's had this worldwide ban currently lifted. So yeah, but his agent Mario, like I said, has been in the process of finding him a new club. Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, with an option of the year and all that. But yeah, Real Madrid, of course, so far this summer have got 5 players on the board. They've got Rodrigo, obviously, they've got Eden Militao from Porto, they've got Eden Hazard for 150 million, they've got Luka Jovic from Frankfurt, and yeah, so I think they've made about 5 signings this summer of Real Madrid. Also, they've got Mendy from Lyon, so obviously now they'll be looking to get a deal over the line for Paul Paul Pogba. I think also Christian Eriksen is on Real Madrid's agenda, and obviously, Christian Eriksen probably would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba and all that. But I think it did initially say like Real Madrid are not keen on getting Paul Pogba in a straight cash payment. It did. I think reports came out early on this week, or was it last week? Saying that Real Madrid were reportedly willing to offer Gareth Bale in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba. So possibly Bale could be still part of the deal with Paul Pogba, because obviously Real Madrid have confirmed they do want to sanction Gareth Bale off. But I do believe now that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving the club. Obviously reports came out a few weeks ago saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to remain at the football club. But obviously this isn't going to be enough to convince Paul Pogba to remain at the club. But Paul Pogba was heavily linked to a move away from Manchester United last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho, and I think there was talks about him going to Barcelona in January. I think also Juventus of course would in for him last year and all that. But obviously Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the club. Obviously Paul Pogba with us has won the Europa League and the League Cup, and obviously this came in his second season, and obviously this was in Jose Mourinho's first season and all that. I think last season Paul Pogba scored 16 goals and provided 11 assists, I think in about 47 games in all competitions, and he hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been. He did well when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager in that 3-month period. Paul Pogba was in scintillating form, and Paul Pogba was mainly playing well when Ander Herrera was in that midfield, so that just emphasises how much of an impact Ander Herrera made in that midfield, because he was freeing up Paul Pogba and all that. Pogba was scoring goals, he was providing them and all that. But I do believe he's going to be making the move to Real Madrid, and I think Paul Pogba is also willing to take a pay cut as well, because obviously he's on about 13 million a year, and obviously where Real Madrid are not willing to meet his 13 million a year wage demands and all that. So I think he's also willing to take a pay cut. But he's been on Real Madrid's agenda for quite some time now, and he is arguably still one of the best midfielders in the world. When he's playing in the right vein and when he's playing in the right manner and all that. He's very, very good for his country, France. But I do believe he's going to be leaving Manchester United. So obviously now we're going to want a replacement for him. And like I said, I think we need at least 2 new additions in that midfield. Maybe even 3 new additions. 3 new additions in that midfield, because we need a replacement for Herrera. I think we also need a holding midfielder. But I think a good replacement for Paul Pogba, I think it would be Yuri Tielemans from Leicester, because a lot of reports were coming out yesterday, was it, saying that, we have revived our interest in Yuri Tielemans, and did basically say, we've held negotiations with Yuri Tielemans' agent over a possible deal and all that. And I think Manchester United have been in for Yuri Tielemans, quite a few times. I think, he's mainly a box-to-box midfielder. I think he can also play as attacking midfielder, Yuri Tielemans, and he would fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, perfectly, only at 22 years of age and all that. I think quite a few teams have inquired about his services, but he is available for a reasonable figure, because I think Monaco, rate him at around £40 million. He's under contract with Monaco until 2022. I think it did initially say, that he's expected to return to Monaco, and all that. But I think now he's keen on making the move to the Premier League. But obviously he's had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League, because obviously he has been on loan with Leicester. He's been on loan with Leicester, since January. I think he has made about 13 appearances in the league for them, scored about 3 goals. But I think also Tottenham have inquired about his services. I think also Arsenal have previously inquired about his services. But obviously we are seeing him as a replacement for Paul Pogba, so we have renewed our interest. I think we was tracking him when he was at Anderlecht, because that's initially when where Yuri Tielemans began his career with Anderlecht and all that. But like I said, only 22 years of age. I think, also Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal, because Yuri Tielemans was pivotal in Leicester's transformation under Brendan Rodgers, and Leicester have been in talks with Monaco, of getting him on a permanent deal and all that. But yeah, initially rated at around £40 million with Yuri Tielemans. But yeah, we have been in talks of getting Yuri Tielemans. So do you think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba and all that? He can score goals as he has proven. Yeah, but I think he would be the right solution for Manchester United. But yeah, quite a few teams have inquired about him services. Initially, Monaco, got him for around £21 million from Anderlecht, back in 2017. But very, very impressive, throughout his loan spell with Leicester. Obviously, as the update you earlier on about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, obviously, recent reports have come out, saying that Atletico Madrid have now entered the race for Bruno Fernandes. It does reportedly say that Atletico Madrid sometime next week are preparing to put a bid in for him of around £44.6 million. But I still say, we are in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes, and looking at it, ultimately, it should be our second or maybe our third signing. Obviously, we've got Daniel James on the board at the moment. That's obviously, confirmed. That's our first signing this summer, our first signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But obviously, we're going to want to build on that, and bring another 4 or 5 new additions to the squad. But I think Bruno Fernandes, would be fantastic for us, because like I said, we need someone that can score goals from that midfield, and I think Bruno Fernandes, would be the right solution. He scored 31 goals for Sporting Lisbon last season. But he did initially say, we had scheduled a meeting, with Sporting Lisbon. We scheduled a meeting with Sporting Lisbon, to get a deal finalised there for Bruno Fernandes. He did initially say, we are willing to pay around £70 million for his services, but I think Sporting Lisbon do want at least around £50 million for him. But now reportedly Atletico Madrid have entered the race. Obviously, a lot of reports come out from the Portuguese press last week, saying that Tottenham entered the race for him. It also said, that Liverpool were in for Bruno Fernandes. But obviously, recent reports have confirmed now that Tottenham have pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes, because, Tottenham have got quite a few players on their agenda, especially midfielders, because, like I said, Christian Eriksen is linked with a move to Real Madrid. And obviously, if he goes, obviously, Tottenham are going to want to replace him with him. And obviously, Mauricio Pochettino is going to want back in this summer. And I think, Mauricio Pochettino has threatened to resign as Tottenham manager, if he doesn't get back to this summer, because obviously Tottenham haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, the last player they signed was Lucas Moura back in 2018. So initially, there was him for Bruno Fernandes. They were seeing him as an alternative to Giovanni Lo Celso, because obviously, Giovanni Lo Celso has been one of Tottenham's main priority targets and all that. And but I think initially said, that Giovanni Lo Celso, wants to make the move to Tottenham. Also, Manchester United have been in for him. Obviously, he's only 23 years of age. He does play for Real Betis. Obviously, I think Tottenham last month had a bid turned down for him. But obviously, if Real Betis, do sell Giovanni Lo Celso, PSG, do benefit from it, because PSG do get a percentage of any current sale and all that. But Real Betis got him last summer from PSG. Initially was on loan, but Real Betis had made the deal permanent back in April and all, and he's only 23 years of age. He did initially say Manchester United were in for him. His release clause is around £88 million and all that. But basically, Tottenham were seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to him, and they were also seeing Bruno Fernandes as a replacement for Christian Eriksen. But I still believe, we are in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for him. But we do know it has been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for Bruno Fernandes' services. But reports confirmed last week that Manchester City now have pulled out of the race. They have withdrawn their interest in Bruno Fernandes, because City were only willing to pay around £47 million for his services. But he did say City were willing to offload a couple of their players as part of the deal. But he's only 24 years of age. He's one of our main priority targets. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. Don't get me wrong, Bruno Fernandes hasn't really played to the highest level as yet and all that. Reports came out early on this week, or was it last week, saying that Ed Woodward was very hesitant over our potential transfer move for Bruno Fernandes, because maybe Ed Woodward has actually got reservations about us spending big on players who he doesn't think are going to step up to the mark. But I do believe that Bruno Fernandes would step up to the mark. He's had a good couple of years with Sporting Lisbon, and I do believe he can replicate this at Manchester United. I do believe he's got all the attributes to currently succeed in the Premier League and all that. And Bruno Fernandes did say he would talk to Sporting Lisbon about leaving. If a big club comes calling in, or if a team comes in with an offer that can not be refused and all that, he's willing to leave Sporting Lisbon and all that. He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. Obviously, his initial release clause is around £86 million. Obviously, he still says he follows the Italian football and all that, because obviously, Bruno Fernandes had a lot of, he spent the majority of his career, when he was younger in Italy, with the likes of Sampdoria and Londonese and all that. So hopefully, we can get a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, as I've been updating you as well on a regular basis about Sean Longstaff, obviously, I've been updating you about him in the last couple of days. Obviously, it's looking very imminent. He's going to be coming to Manchester United. Sean Longstaff, obviously, he plays for Newcastle. I think last season was only his first season in the senior squad with Newcastle. I think we are set to get him for around £25 million. We are close to getting a deal over the line for him. I think he played about 9 games last season for Newcastle under Rafael Benitez. I think back in March, he did sustain a knee ligament injury, did Sean Longstaff, and I think, he's I think he's still recovering from that knee ligament injury, is Sean Longstaff, but he's only 21 years of age, plus he's British, and like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer, and I think he's a box-to-box midfielder and all that, which is obviously, very, very beneficial. I think he's also had loan spells with Kilmarnock, he's also had loan spells with Blackpool, so it's looking likely, we're also going to get a deal over the line for him, so he's another midfielder on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks about Adrian Rabiot from PSG, as I have been updating you on a regular basis. I think it still remains uncertain, why he will be applying his trade next season, Adrian Rabiot. Recent reports have come out about him, saying that Juventus, he's in talks with Juventus and all that over the potential move to the Italian Giants. Also, Manchester United have been in for him. Obviously, Arsenal have been in for him because obviously he has played under Unai Emery's Adrian Rabiot, and actually Adrian Rabiot, flourished under Unai Emery's guidance and all that. I think also Everton the other week inquired about his services. Where they're in talks, but I don't think Adrian Rabiot would want to go to Everton because obviously Everton can't offer him any European football and all that. But yeah, there's quite a few teams that have inquired about his services. Because like I said, it's looking imminent. He's going to be leaving PSG this summer. Obviously, the beneficial thing is he's going to be a free agent, so no team has to pay any transfer fee for Adrian Rabiot and all that. And obviously, I think he has now come to an end of his contract and all that. There's still possibility chance that I could re-sign for PSG. Obviously, he hasn't played a single game for PSG this year because obviously, he had been withdrawn from the PSG squad in December of last year, by Thomas Tuchel. He'd been withdrawn from the squad, based on his refusal to sign a new contract and all that. But reports came out from a lot of Spanish outlets a couple of weeks ago, saying that, we offered him a lucrative contract, worth up to around 170 grand a week. Obviously, I think it did say there was a signing on fee included of around £10 million, I think, a year. So obviously, this equates to around £170,000 a week. I think Adrian Rabiot is primarily a central midfielder. I think he can play in various other positions, if I'm right, but I think he's primarily central midfielder. Obviously, a lot of people have got reservations about his attitude, because to be fair, he has got a bad attitude as Adrian Rabiot, but he's only 24 years of age, got a lot of development in him. Like I said, he has spent the majority of his career with PSG. Obviously, he graduated from their youth system and all that. I think he's been at PSG about 8 years, so he has been a long-serving player with them and all that. I think he has won about 18 major honours, and I think he did also have a spell with Manchester City when he was younger. So obviously he's had experience of playing in Manchester as Adrian Rabiot. So I still believe that Manchester United are in for him, but I think from Adrian Rabiot's perspective, he's still unsure where he will be playing next season. So there's still a possibility chance that he could remain loyal to PSG and that he could re-sign for them and all that. And actually his mother acts like his agent and all that. So he's obviously on Manchester United's agenda. So would you like to see him come in? Obviously we would see him as the replacement for under Herrera. And obviously, as I've been updating you in the last couple of days about Ivan Rakitic from Barcelona, it also said, that we're in for Ivan Rakitic. Like I said, I've got strong reservations about, bringing Ivan Rakitic in. Even though I think he's had a really, really good career, Ivan Rakitic, I can't slate his career down. Obviously, the majority of his silver he has won has become at Barcelona and all that. He has been at Barcelona 5 years. I was reading reports about Ivan Rakitic yesterday and all that. It does say Ernesto Valverde. Ernesto Valverde, who was the Barcelona manager, he did basically say, he's willing to let, Ivan Rakitic leave this summer. He confirmed this in a meeting, with the Barcelona president, that he's willing to let him go this summer as long as, Barcelona get a suitable offer for him. And obviously, as well, if they do find an adequate replacement for him. And, Manchester United are in for him. And I think, we have inquired about his services, quite a few times. But like I said, he's aging up now. He's 31 years of age, is Ivan Rakitic. Obviously, he can play as a central mid. He can also play him as an attacker, midfielder, and all that. But I wouldn't want us, to currently bring him in. He has still got 2 years left on his contract with Barcelona. I don't think he's got any intentions of leaving Barcelona and all that. Barcelona obviously making plans, of who they're going to sign this summer and what players, of course, they are going to get rid of. But I think, but obviously Barcelona have got a deal over the line for Frankie de Jong, and obviously with Frankie de Jong's arrival, that could, mean that could mean Ivan Rakitic is going to be a surplus to requirements. But I think Barcelona are also intending on bringing bring maybe another couple of midfielders in. So Ivan Rakitic is going to find game time very, very difficult. But like I said, he's still under contract with Barcelona until 2021. Probably he's going to cost you around £40 million, and I don't think he'd succeed in the Premier League now anyway. He's obviously never played in the Premier League, so I wouldn't be keen on Manchester United bringing him in. But he is, I do believe he's on our agenda. Obviously, it should be looking very imminent, that Wan-Bissaka, of course, is coming to Manchester United. That should be looking now very, very imminent. Obviously, it did say, we're holding further talks with Crystal Palace this weekend. We're coming to an agreement on a fee for Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka has made it clear to Crystal Palace, he's told them, that he wants to join Manchester United this summer and all that, because obviously, he does want to rejuvenate his career. Recent reports have said, that we've had a £40 million bid turned down for him, but we are now reportedly preparing to put around the £50 million bid in for Wan-Bissaka. Whether this is going to be enough to convince Crystal Palace to offload him or not, I do not know, because I think Crystal Palace, looking at ultimately, Crystal Palace are reluctant, to currently sell him, but I think, Crystal Palace, do want at least around £60 million for him, of course. But I do like Wan-Bissaka a lot. Obviously, he's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets, and he has been on our agenda, for quite some time. Obviously, he's a right back, and obviously, that's one of the pivotal areas where we do need to strengthen up, because we definitely need to get a right back in. But there has been quite a few right backs on our agenda. But Wan-Bissaka is proven in the Premier League. I think he's regarded as one of the best players in the Premier League now. Obviously, he made his senior debut for Crystal Palace in February of last year and all that. And obviously, last season, established himself as a first team regular. I think he's made about 42 senior appearances for Crystal Palace. I think he has got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace. But initially, when he was a lot younger, obviously, like I said, he's so far spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. Obviously, I think joined them at the age of 11. I've obviously, graduated from their youth system. But initially, when he was younger, he was an out-and-out winner. But as he was developing, he got rotated as a right back and all that. But I do believe he's got the abilities, to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. He is only 21 years of age, so hopefully we can get a deal over the line for Wan-Bissaka. And like I said, we need a replacement for Antonio Valencia, and I think Wan-Bissaka is the perfect successor to Antonio Valencia. Antonio Valencia's been a long-serving player with the club. He has been here 10 years. Like I said, we know he's going to be leaving, but I think it remains uncertain, where his next destination is going to be. I think there's been talks about Valencia, going to the MLS and all that. But like I said, I'm not too sure, where he's currently going to be going. Obviously, we need an upgrade to Ashley Young, because Ashley Young now is too inconsistent. Obviously, he's been at Manchester United, 8 years, so he's been another long-serving player in the club. Obviously, I think he's going to be giving the captaincy for next season. It was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving him that new 1 year extension and all that. Obviously, he was our first choice right back last season, but we know Ashley Young has no longer got the abilities, or he's no longer got the abilities, to fulfill that right back position. Plus, his past his sell by date. He's 33. He's nearly 34 years of age, so we do need an upgrade to him, and we do need to cover up for Diego Dalot. So I do believe the right solution is Wan-Bissaka. So he is now our top priority. So hopefully, we can get a deal finalised for him. So hopefully, we can get a deal finalised for him. But like I said, there has been quite a few right backs on our current agenda. I think another problem with Manchester United as well, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. That's been another issue. Obviously, De Gea is in the final year of his deal. I think it's looking likely, that David De Gea is going to be leaving Manchester United, because we haven't come to an agreement to get him a new contract. I think his likely destination, to be quite honest, is going to be PSG. Obviously, PSG have been heavily linked to him, but I think PSG now have obviously stepped up their interest, because obviously Buffon has left PSG. I think it did initially say that PSG were willing to put a bid in for him of around £60 million. But like I said, we need to cash in for De Gea this summer. Like I said, at full value for the goalkeeper, he's worth around £100 million, because obviously he's potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. But obviously, we're not going to get £100 million for De Gea, because he's in the final year of his contract term and all that. If he'd had 3 years left on his contract, I think we'd have got around £100 million for him. But he did initially say PSG were paying to put a bid in for him around £60 million. Also, Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Reflecting back in 2015, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him, but due to a fax machine, the deal, of course, never materialised. But we do know David De Gea has been a long servant at the club. He's been here about 8 years. So he's been a fantastic servant to Manchester Manchester United and all that. He has made over 300 other appearances in all competitions. He's won everything he domestically. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 6 years and all that. So he has done really, really well as David De Gea, and he is now 28 years of age, and he has still got quite a lot of development in him and all that. But we have been in the process of trying to get him a new contract now, at least for the last year and a half. But obviously, David De Gea wants around 350 grand a week. Obviously, we're not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands, and obviously, this is why we haven't come to an agreement to get him a new contract. But I think PSG, of course, are willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands. But he hasn't really done much wrong in his 8-year period at Manchester United. He did make quite a few costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but obviously, that was mainly to do with the contractual situation. But I said we need to buy a goalkeeper to replace David De Gea if he does leave. I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper, to replace him if he does leave. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number one goalkeeper. But like I said, I've got reservations about this now because I don't think Sergio Romero is reliable enough, as yet, to become our number one goalkeeper. We've got Dean Henderson, but like I said, Dean Henderson is too inexperienced at the moment. So I think Dean Henderson needs to gain a bit more experience. He has been on loan with Sheffield United and all that, but I think we need to orchestrate on loaning him out for another season. But yeah, I think, David De Gea is definitely going to be leaving. But I think, it will help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us with our transition. But like I said, if Pogba gets sold, if De Gea gets sold, and Lukaku, of course, gets sold, that's probably, around maybe £300 million, for them three, maybe even more than that. I think for Lukaku and Pogba alone, I think, we can raise them around at least £200 million for them too. But like I said, it has been a problem, with contracts and not, we have let far too many, players' contracts run down. Like I said, Rashford, he's in the final year of his deal. I don't think Manchester United are orchestrating on selling Marcus Rashford because I still think he's a long-term solution for Manchester United. Obviously, recent reports said, that Barcelona, were in for him. I think also Real Madrid have been in for him in the past, and he has been inconsistent in the last couple of months as Marcus Rashford's performances have been way below par, but he's 21, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, so I still believe his long-term solution, but it's going to take him a couple of years, to get into that level, of course, where he does want to be, Marcus Rashford. He's more effective centrally, you can put him out wide, but he is more effective centrally, but, reflecting back last season, Rashford had sustained quite a few injuries, so that had a bad effect on his game and all that. But Manchester United are not willing to sell him. He's in the final year of his deal. But we have been in talks, for some time now. We're trying to get Marcus Rashford a new contract and all that. So, like I said, we have let far too many players' contracts run down. Will Juan Mata? I haven't read up much about Juan Mata as lately. The last time I read up, it did say, we was willing to offer Juan Mata a new contract. Obviously, we have got a release list of around 14 players. Obviously, in that release list is obviously Herrera and Antonio Valencia and all that. But actually, Juan Mata was not included in that release list reportedly. But like I said, we've offered him a new contract, as he said. Obviously, it's not going to be a long-term contract, reflecting on his age, because he's 31 years of age now, he's Juan Mata. Obviously, we're not going to offer him a long-term contract and all that, but I think I would like him to stay at least for another season, because I think he's been very consistent for Manchester United. I know he doesn't get in the team now, he's basically, used as a squad player and all that, but I would like him to stay at Manchester United for at least another season. He has been here for 5 years. He has been here since the David Moyes era. Obviously, we paid just under £40 million for him in 2014 from Chelsea, but he's had a great pedigree in the Premier League. Manchester United, he has made 218 appearances, scored 45 goals in all competitions and all that. So it's about 45 goals scored in all competitions. So yeah, being a very, very good servant to Manchester United. Newcastle have been in for him. Obviously, Barcelona have been in talks of getting him on a free transfer, because obviously, when he was younger, he grew up in Spain. Obviously, began his career in Spain with the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona, Real Madrid and Valencia, sorry. So maybe he would be keen on making the return to Spain and maybe making the move to Barcelona. But Barcelona would use him as a squad player. They wouldn't see him as a replacement for Messi out. They just use him basically as a squad player, as you all know. So yeah, I probably do expect around 3 or 4 players to leave Manchester United this summer, like I said. Obviously, as I've been updating you as well on a regular basis about Joe Felix from Benfica. Obviously, we do know that we've been in for him. Obviously, it is Manchester United and Manchester City that are battling out for his services. I think, there's a possibility chance that he could leave Benfica this summer. His initial buyout clause is around at £105 million. I think Benfica have blatantly made it clear, if they are willing to sell him, they want his release clause to be triggered. But I think reports did say before that, us and Manchester City are willing to trigger his release clause and all. But like I said, he's only 19 years of age. Obviously, I do believe he can emulate him into one of the best players in the world. Maybe not emulating to Ronaldo or Messi or Neymar and all that, but I do believe he can emulate him into one of the best Joe Felix. But last season was only his first season in the senior squad with Benfica. Obviously, he's yet to make his senior debut of Portugal, but he's been relentlessly linked to a move away from Benfica. And obviously, I think Manchester United have been scouting him, since like January or something like that. But we've been very, very impressed with him. But he can play. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. Can also play as a winner, a striker, and a second striker. So very, very versatile. I think Liverpool were in for him in January. I think Liverpool had around the £61 million bid turned down for him in January. So he's also been on Manchester United's agenda as Joe Felix. But he's got goals in him. He's got assists in him. He has got immense talent. I do believe he's got all the attributes to come and succeed in the Premier League as Joe Felix. But yeah, he's been on our agenda since like January, of course, as Joe Felix. Yeah, he's been on our agenda, since like January and all that. But like I did basically say to you guys, it's looking very, very likely now that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving. He's told reporters in Tokyo, he wants to leave. He's publicly, announced, publicly admitted this, for the first time, and he did even say he was willing to go on strike, to force his move away from Manchester United. Well, initially, he's planning to submit a transfer request, but if this transfer request, doesn't, succeed, he's willing, to go on strike, to force the move away from Manchester United and all that. So it's looking likely he's going to be going, even though Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player is, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is obviously working on keeping him as imperative players at Manchester United, as you all know. Obviously, as I updated you about Antoine Griezmann as well, obviously I've been giving you an update about him on a regular basis. Obviously, reports came out the other day saying that we was willing to we were set to hijack Barcelona's move for Antoine Griezmann, because obviously we do know that Antoine Griezmann came out with an admission obviously last month saying that he's going to be leaving Atletico Madrid, so that is imminent. But I think it remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. But at the time he made his admission that he's going to leave Atletico Madrid, it looks very destined. He was going to be making the move to Barcelona, and it was looking very likely. But now obviously Barcelona have got reservations about bringing him in. They've got second thoughts about it now, and recent reports have said they're stalling on their move for Antoine Griezmann. I think Griezmann has increasingly become frustrated about this. Atletico Madrid, from their point of view, have said that Griezmann's been a good servant to them and all that. They've got a good relationship, but they don't know where Griezmann is currently going to be going. That's what reports said. Was it last week? As I did give you an update on. But I think it's been looking very likely. He's going to be going to Barcelona and all that. So obviously, if he goes to Barcelona, he will continue playing his trade in Spain next season. But yeah, we are reporting now set to hijack Barcelona's move for him. It did say we was willing to smash our own transfer record, and it did say we're willing to offer around £95 million for his services. So Griezmann's initial release clause at the moment is £170 million. But obviously, this does reduce at the beginning of next month to around the £104 or £105 million and all that. Obviously, Griezmann was on the verge of joining Barcelona last summer, but obviously, he signed a new long-term contract with Atletico Madrid, and he's under contract with them until 2023. Obviously, he has spent the entirety of his career in Spain so far. He's 28 years of age, so he has still got quite a lot of development in him. I think he scored 133 goals in 257 games for Atletico Madrid in all competitions. I think the only major honour he won was the Europa League last season, Griezmann. So he might be frustrated, with the lack of competitiveness at Atletico Madrid, and this is maybe one of the main factor reasons why he's confirmed he wants to leave Atletico Madrid and all that. But like I said, we were on the verge of getting him a couple of years ago, but based on Atletico Madrid's transfer ban, his deal to Manchester United never materialised and all that. But yeah, Manchester United are in for him. But it came out a couple of weeks ago, saying that, we'd made initial contact with Atletico Madrid, with Griezmann over potential move to Old Trafford. But like I said, I wouldn't like us, spending just under £100 million on him. Like I said, I'd rather spend that, £100 million odd pounds on Joe Felix, because Joe Felix is like 9 or 10 years younger than him. Obviously, obviously, Joe Felix, of course, has got a lot more development in him than Antoine Griezmann. I don't think Griezmann, is the fundamental player as he was a couple of years ago. I think he's a very, very good player, that can lead lines and he can score goals and all that. I think he probably would, probably succeed in the Premier League and, live and exceed expectations. But like I said, I'm not keen on us bringing Griezmann in. I don't think Griezmann, will come to Manchester United anywhere. But if Barcelona were to get the deal over the line, obviously, it would be their third £100 million plus signing, 3 years, something like that. Because in recent years, they bought Coutinho for 142 million. Obviously, they bought Ousmane Dembele for over 100 million pounds and all that. But yeah, Manchester United are in for Antoine Griezmann. So like I said, we do need a massive overhaul this summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding and all that. But like I said, we have got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window. But like I said, maybe we can still get the players we want, even though we're not in Champions League football. Solskjaer was saying towards the back end of last season, he still believes we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. And all that. But like I said, Darmian's probably going to be leaving the club. Rojo's probably going to be leaving the club. We know Valencia is definitely leaving the club. I presume Sanchez, should be leaving the club as well. We definitely need to get rid of Alexis Sanchez because he's one of the problematic players at Manchester United. And obviously, I've already given the latest news about Lukaku. It's looking very imminent that Lukaku is going to be leaving the club. Like I said, with that, Inter Milan have agreed everything with Lukaku, but the initial fee. Inter Milan are still negotiating, with us over coming to an agreement on a fee. We want at least around £62 million. Obviously, Antonio Conte has identified, Romelu Lukaku as his number one target, but we do know that Lukaku is surplus to requirements at Manchester United, so it'd be very beneficial, if we do sell him. Obviously, he's obviously we've got to get rid of him because he's one of the problematic players at the club, and obviously he's no longer assured first team football. Is Romelu Lukaku, so maybe the fee could be the problem because I don't think Inter Milan are willing to pay up to £62 million. And initially it came out a couple of weeks ago, saying that we wanted around £80 million for Romelu Lukaku and all that. But yeah, I think, he should be making his move to Inter Milan and all. But we'll see what happens going on into next season. Like I said, the fixtures are now being published. Obviously, we've got Chelsea to begin with. That's going to be a very, very difficult game. Obviously, the second game is Wolves. I think the third game is it Crystal Palace, and then I think the fourth game is Southampton, and I think the fifth game is Leicester. So I think there are five. There are our first 5 games going on into next season and all that. But Chelsea, Old Trafford is going to be a very, very difficult game, of course. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.